Hello dear students, this is Professor Ronak here, welcomes you all in the class of the financial management. I hope my voice is perfectly audible to everyone. I can see 24 students have joined. Please inform your friends to join as quickly as possible. Let's move ahead. Sharing my screen with you, and here we are. Can someone just give me a confirmation that my voice is perfectly audible so that I can move ahead?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay, thank you so much. Good. So, friends, we were there into a dividend decision making. We had understood the meaning of dividend. We were there into a factors which affects the dividend decision policy. When I say the dividend decision policy, it includes majorly three decisions. One is whether to pay the dividend or not. And number two decision, up to what extent, what magnitude, at what quantum the dividend should be paid. And number three decision, what will be a potential impact on market price of the share due to payment or non-payment of dividend. This three decision in combination makes your dividend decision policy, and we were there into various factors which were affecting the corporate's choice to pay the dividend, to make a policy. What were those factors? Let's just take the brief overview of that again. I guess few of them were pending to be done. From trends of profits, it was pending to be done. So type of industry, I will just brief you in a 1 minute that how these factors earlier one discussed once affects the dividend policy. Type of industry, my friends: service industry, manufacturing industry. Some of the industries which involves higher capital outlays in their fixed assets and investments will not be able to afford good amount of dividend in case of insufficient profits. Ownership structure, how much debt and equity you have. If too much of debt would be there in your ownership structure, then it definitely affects your leverage position, financial leverage position in particular, and that's why it will affect your dividend decision policy too. Age of corporation, my friends, at what age you are, at the very initial stage of the product life cycle or at the business cycle, the companies are at the expansion stage. At that time they require more and more funds for their expansion purposes. They will not be giving you too much of dividend at that point of time. At saturation and at the diminishing point of time of their cycle, they will prefer to give more and more dividend. Different shareholders' expectations of income. Some shareholders want a stable income in a regular flow like dividend. Some shareholders will prefer to increase their market price instead. They have two alternatives. One is to receive the dividend, and if those dividends will not be received, it will be added back to reserves and surpluses. Company's financial position, financial ratios will look good, and eventually there will be an impact on the market price in a long term. So expectations of shareholders will differ. Some may want to get regular flow of income in terms of dividend. Some people will require increment in market price. Leverage, how much fixed commitment of costs you have taken, your fixed operating expenses as well as the fixed financial expenses. If the too much of burden is there for the fixed expenses, then the ability, the independence to pay the dividend will be affected a bit. The reason being, you have taken the too much of obligation. If some of the years will not go good, at that time you will suffer from the liquidity crisis. You won't have the enough money to pay back your fixed commitments. So dividend may not be given in that situation. Future financial requirements of the firm, the extent of share distribution, more and more number of shares you have in a market, floating in a market, my friends, lesser and lesser per share dividend you will have. Changes in the government policies. I had extensively discussed this point. Government may change the legal criterias, the legal rules related to dividends, related to market prices, related to various other things too. Earlier, dividend was not taxable up to 10 lakhs rupees. Now it is taxable. It affects the preference of shareholder whether to receive or not. Profitability. If you have good percentage of profitability, then you can afford to give the dividend even in case of insufficient profits, because you know that even if you will make a less amount of sales, you have got a good percentage profitability, you will be able to at least make some amount of profit. It's not just about the profitability, it's also about the trends in the profits. If the overall trend is diminishing, my friends, at that time too, company will think about not giving the dividends. Now it's entirely case to case basis. So many other things needs to be taken into account before taking this decision. There won't be any single framework to decide whether to pay or not to pay. But all of these factors are taken into account in a combined manner, and then one collective decision is made. We were there into liquidity. My friends, liquidity is also something that matters before making the payment of dividend. Yesterday only we discussed that reserves and surplus is at your liability side in your balance sheet. Now that reserves and surplus involves securities premium, general reserves, free reserves, some mandatory reserves to be prepared. That may be blocked somewhere in your fixed assets, that may be blocked somewhere in your investments, or that may be available in terms of your cash, or I may say the current assets. If it is available in the cash, free cash, then it may be utilized further. यह तो ऐसी बात हो गई बेटा, आप चाय पीने के लिए जाते हो, आपके खिस्से में 10 रुपए नहीं है, तो आप बोलोगे कि तो रुको, मैं 1 बीघा जमीन बेच के आपको 10 रुपए दे देता हूं. Do you sell your fixed assets to maintain your liquidity issues? On a day-to-day basis, if you require some amount of money to run your business, how you'll be managing that? So sometimes, in spite of the fact that you have good reserves and surpluses, that reserves and surpluses may be blocked in some assets, cannot be realized right now, and you do not have enough amount of cash to expand your businesses. My friends, company will prefer to increase their reserves and surplus because they want to boost their liquidity. When I say liquidity, that means more amount of cash and cash convertibles should be there, which may be realized just in a few number of days, so that you won't face any bankruptcy issues. Legal rules. Legal rules affects, my friends. Legal rules we have already discussed in changes in government policies too. The rules related to the payment of dividend in case of insufficient profits may get changed over a period of time. Yes, there are few established rules as per Companies Act 2013, where in case of insufficient profits, you may pay the dividend from the reserves and surpluses, but there are certain rules to be satisfied. You cannot pay the dividend more than the extent particularly specified over there. Up to some percentage of your paid up capital and reserves and surpluses you can pay. There are some rules. And if those rules gets changed, then the dividend decision making will also change. Inflation, Mongwari. It's the time where the prices of goods and commodities and services are rising. Last quarter's wholesale price index was somewhere near to 11%. That's the insane increment. And at the same time, we are able to see right now the hikes in the petroleum products too. When the petrol gets expensive, rest everything gets expensive, because the transportation is now expensive. From one place to another place, if you want to reach the goods, if you want to transfer the goods, you will require more amount of money in transportation. Hence, everything will get more expensive. Petrol is selling at 106 rupees, 107 rupees in some metro cities. In Rajkot too, it is somewhere near to 100 rupees. In the last year itself, the government of India had collected somewhere near to 3.5 lakhs crores just from the excise duty of petroleum products. That's the insane money you have collected. It's not just about the money you have collected. At what time? When the people were suffering from the liquidity crisis, when people were losing their employment, when people didn't have money to spend, when people were losing their jobs, when people did not have any savings to survive, at that time, what's the need for a government of India to increase their reserves by 3.5 lakhs rupees just from 3.5 lakhs crores just from the petroleum products, beyond the understanding of anyone? At that time, you are supposed to disburse more amount of cash into an economy. You are supposed to give some free benefits to the people of India. You are supposed to waive the interests on the loans taken by the small and medium class people of India. Anyway, let's not go over there. That will be a big issue to discuss. At the time of inflation, what happens, my friends, that the money value gets reduced. Say, what will you do from the receipt of your dividend income? You have received some dividend income, say 100 rupees. And at that time, if you invest that money at 8% in a fixed deposits, then your fund value will become 108 after a year, right? But say, if the inflation is too high in that year, and if that is somewhere near to 10 to 11%, then all the goods and commodities which you are purchasing from 100 rupees, the same goods and commodities now will require 110 rupees to purchase. Your fund value is increased just to 108 rupees by your investments. Against that, your purchasing power is reduced. You will require 110 rupees. So you are there in effective 2 rupees of loss. So in case of inflation, the investors may not like to receive the cash inflow. They would rather prefer to get the capital gains in terms of incremental market price. Because they know that even if they receive this money, if they will be investing it somewhere, it won't be fetching much amount of return, because there is a hyperinflation in that case. Repayment of debt, that's basically related to the ownership structure too. If you have some due dates for repayment of debts and obligations you have taken, obviously, you won't be able to make the payments of dividend in the near future. This all are the points to be considered, and this is again not an exhaustive list. It can further be extended to various other industry-specific factors, company-specific factors, country-specific factors too. There may be a good political environment to make the dividend payouts at some time. Even the external environment will also impact the dividend decision making. When there will be a crisis like COVID-19 we have seen, obviously the preference of whether to pay the dividend or not may get affected. Anyway, so these are the various factors which affects the dividend decision. May I have a confirmation from the students that you have got everything till now? यहाँ तक सब कुछ clear है? Okay, really nice. Let's move ahead further. Now we are going to the forms of dividend. A very general form of a dividend known to everyone is the cash dividend. Do not interpret it very literally like cash. It may be an electronic transfer through bank account too. And obviously nowadays dividends are paid through electronic mode in the bank accounts of the investors directly. So cash dividend is basically the money you pay directly in the bank account of investors. Pretty much known to everyone, and that is the most followed form of dividend. Then we have the bonus shares. Bonus shares are basically the shares that are given to you at free of costs. There will be a ratio of bonus shares. Say 1:1 is the ratio of bonus shares. So each share you possess will receive one more share additionally from the company. Now some people would be like, sir, तो 100 रुपए का शेयर थे तो हमारे पास 200 रुपए हो गए. नहीं बेटा, the market price of the share will get automatically adjusted in the ratio of bonus on the record date of bonus shares. So earlier say your market price was 100, it will be automatically given the effect of 50 rupees. But now what will be the problem? Try to understand. What will be a benefit out of this? It's been historically observed that even though the market prices are adjusted in their bonus share proportion, still you get some amount of benefits. Even though you get some amount, even though it's splitted, you will get some amount of benefits. Because it's observed that after the bonus announcements, these prices are always hiked by some percentages. So say 20% hike is observed, then it will be now at 60 rupees and you have got 2 shares, right, at 60. So it will be a value of 120 rupees. So from 100 to 120, 20 rupees you have made a profit. So bonus shares are basically issued at free of cost to the shareholders. Share repurchase and buyback of shares. Buyback in a general understanding stands for repurchasing the shares from the investors, from the shareholders back. Now, what could be potentially the reasons behind it? The first reason, any company will do a buyback. First of all, this buyback will happen at some premium price. If the price of a particular share is 100 rupees, then obviously the buyback would be at some premium, say 110 and 120. Then only the people will participate in this buyback, right? Otherwise, if they can sell it at 100 rupees and buyback offer is also at 100 rupees, then why won't anyone participate in the buyback? It may just be sold in the market. Now, why company will be buyback? Why company will be buying back the shares of shareholders at some premium prices. Can someone tell me the potential reasons behind it? What could be the reasons? If I ask you, why company will prefer to do a buyback? Will anyone? Well, my friends, the first reason potentially may be that they want to send a signal among the shareholders that our prices are undervalued. Listen it very carefully. They want to send the signal that our prices are undervalued. Buyback is taken positively by the investors. The primary reason is that company wants to send a signal. What happens? Say if company buys it back at 110, company is feeling that the shares are undervalued, it deserves the greater valuation in the market, company repurchase it back, and once the prices goes to 140 rupees or 150 rupees, now because of the buyback, now there will be a less amount of shares circulated in the market, and less amount of shares if there will be circulated in a market, obviously there may be some impact on their prices positively too, due to demand and supply forces. And if it reaches to 140, 150 in some time to come, my friends, company may reissue it again at 140, 150 by the further issue. So company has additionally gathered 30 to 20 rupees from that buyback. I'm not saying that every company will do that. There may be some repercussions as well because of this. But that sends a signal to the shareholders that our shares are undervalued. Those who are holding the shares will get a positive motivation to hold it for some more number of periods. And those who are not interested in shares may get interested. That's one reason. Another reason, which is again very popular, is that due to a buyback, the company wants to increase the shareholding of their promoters. There are, my friends, two types of people who are the shareholders in a company. One is the promoters, another one is the public at large, the individual shareholders like you and me. Promoters are the people who have established this company, who are the insiders of this company, who are managing the company right since its inception, who are there into some managerial and the official administrative positions in a company. You people are aware that due to pass some decisions in the annual general meeting of a company, sometimes you require 50% of the majority in terms of ordinary resolution. Sometimes you require 75% of the majority in terms of special resolution. If the promoters will have a less control over a company, then they will always have to depend more on other people to take such decisions. My friends, if company has got 100 shares, out of 150 are held by promoters and 50 are held by public. If company comes up with the buyback of 20 shares from a public, promoters are not participating in the buyback. Only the public at large is participating in a buyback, my friends. Say the 20 shares are bought back. So now in circulation, there will be only 80 shares and promoters are holding 50 out of 80. Earlier they were having the 50% voting right control. Now they will have somewhere around 70%, 65% voting right control, because 50 out of 80 makes a greater proportion. To increase the holding of promoters, company may come up with a buyback. So the premium that is paid on a buyback can also be a part of the dividend. You are giving us your shares back, we pay you some premium on it. That's a buyback. It may be a property dividend. A property dividend is not very famous. I haven't seen such examples practically yet, even though there may be. But if the dividend is paid in kind, then it may be a property dividend. Now, sometimes in the private limited companies that those kind of things happens. Say some people are running a real estate company. 3 to 4 shareholders are there who are basically the major shareholders of that company, a private company. Instead of cash, if they want to distribute a real estate outlet in terms of dividend to their shareholders, they may definitely do it. The market value of that real estate will be taken as the amount of dividend paid by company. Whether you pay it in cash or in a kind, that does not matter. Something is given to you, right? Just because you are holding the shares. So no one can deny the liability of taxation on dividend if it is received in kind. Even though it will be received in kind, it will be considered as a dividend because you have received it exclusively because you are the shareholder of that company. Property dividend. Fifth one, the scrip dividend, my friends. Now what happens in the scrip dividend? Again, not very famous. Company may be facing some liquidity crisis. They do not have the cash right now, but after some number of years, they may have a cash. So company may give a promissory note to shareholders that will not be able to pay you the dividend right now, but after some number of years will pay the dividend whenever we will have the enough money to distribute. Not right now, after some number of years, a promissory note, an obligation will be taken by a company. And if you do not want to get that option, then we may give you right now bonus shares. To convert more number of shares, to give you bonus shares, we may not be requiring the cash to distribute to you, because we are facing the cash crisis. Liquidity problems are there. Because of that, company may prefer to give promissory note at a future date instead of giving the cash right now. That's a scrip dividend. Not very famous again. Liquidating dividend, the last one. When the company will be shutting down its operations, when company will cease to exist, my friend, at that point of time, the remaining amount left in reserves and surpluses after making payment to all the outsiders' liability will be distributed to the equity shareholders. You must have heard about one company called Majesco. Majesco issued a very great dividend. Their share prices was somewhere around 1,000 rupees, and they had announced a dividend of, that is a matter of, I guess, 6 to 7 months back. They had announced the dividend of somewhere near to 930, 940 rupees per share. Now, on a very next day after the dividend, the ex-dividend price was somewhere near to 10 to 15 rupees. Their chart is very interesting chart. You know, let me take you to that chart. You people also will be like, sir, ऐसे price कैसे हो गए? कल तक 1000 रुपए का प्राइस, दूसरे दिन 10 रुपए. just in a day. And some people were asking me, students were like, sir, how can the price of 1,000 rupees, don't they have any circuit or what? I said, beta, they have paid the great amount of dividend. Now there is, you must have heard about that milk, you know, if you take the cream out of that milk, then what's left in the milk now? The entire nutritional value of that milk is taken away. If the milk is sold at 50 rupees per liter and you take the cream out of it, the nutritional value is taken away. Then the remaining milk will be fetching somewhere around just 15 to 20 rupees, 30 rupees, because nutritional value has been taken away. Right now it is somewhere near to 90 rupees. And see, the movement is not coming over here in the chart as well. So it's highlighted. Over at this point of time, the price was near to 1,000 rupees, and just in a day it ranged to somewhere near to 15 to 20 rupees. Now what happened with that company was that their major business, which was I guess the US based, was sold. And whatever the money they had received from it, they had distributed it to the shareholders in terms of dividend. Now only few amount of properties were left in their balance sheet. A property based on lower parallel was there in their balance sheet, and that was costing somewhere around I don't know the exact figure of that property, but per share valuation of that property was somewhere near to 50 to 60 rupees. So if you divide the number of shares by whatever the value they had in terms of property, no, so you can also get the book value of the share they have. So that was somewhere near to 50 rupees, 60 rupees. So I told that if you get this get this company, no, you may take it. But for so many number of days there was a circuit after that ex-dividend price. You know, it was getting 5% more and more and more and more, and then it reached to 100 rupees, and then again the trading started taking place, and right now it may be somewhere around 89 to 85 rupees. This company has already applied for the delisting, because they will cease to exist after some number of periods, but people are trading it before the delisting take place. No, the trading may take place anyway. So this is how the Majesco had paid a great amount of dividend in terms of the liquidation. So when the company is shutting down, if company decides to pay in terms of dividend, whatever the money they have got left, it may be a liquidating dividend. So these are the various examples of the forms of dividend. One more is there, which is a right issue. Maybe the shares issued to you at the discounted rate. Some qualities of bonus shares are there, but not exactly the bonus shares are issued, but the shares, new shares are issued to you at the discounting rate, at the discounted rate. Those things, those shares are called as the right shares. So these are the various forms of dividend through which company may distribute the money to equity shareholders. Now you can go to those links and you may check that what are the various current announcements related to bonus shares and buyback of shares done by the various companies listed in stock exchanges in India. So you may go over there in the site of Money Control. You can go to investing.com. You may refer the Stock Edge. You may refer the Market Pulse. You may go to e-learnings. You may go to Yahoo Finance. You may go to Economic Times. At various other places, you will be able to see the various announcements done by these companies related to bonus shares, buyback of shares, which are listed in the stock exchanges in India. So these are the various forms of dividend. May I have a confirmation from students that you have got everything till now? Confirmation, please. यहाँ तक सब कुछ clear है? Received it from Mr. Josam, Miss Priska. Yes, Miss Urja, the buyback of shares will also improve EPS if the shares are cancelled. Very true. Because there will be less number of shares in the denomination now, right? You have bought back a shares and it will it will reduce the denomination of the EPS. Number of shares will be reduced, and obviously there will be an impact on the earning per share because of this. Their profits haven't increased by a penny, just because of the fact that the number of shares circulated in market are reduced. The EPS will get a boost. Very nicely identified point, Ms. Urja. I must appreciate you for this. Okay, so it's 9:40. I won't be stretching it further. From the next session onwards, we'll go to the practical side of it. The conceptual part of the dividend decision making is over. Now we'll go to a dividend decision models, which will give us the exact idea that whether to distribute a dividend or not, and what will be the impact of distribution of dividend on the market price if we apply those mathematical models. Some are very primitive in nature and some are very advanced as well. Like Linter's model is a very advanced model framed after taking into account the thousands of companies. Those professors had done the research of many number of companies in the United States, and then they had built a model based on the corporate dividend behavior of the companies and the management. So we'll see all those models from the next session onwards. Please put your enrollment number as a mark of your attendance. That's it from my side for the day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. Take care. Sayonara.